Hello, good morning. Okay, well, we are here today now. We are starting this new week after last holiday you had. I hope you could have some time to do something to get relaxed, okay? Well, for today's lesson, this is a review and some practice about the present simple, just to finish this topic and then start the next unit according to the calendar we have. So we have here the present simple, yes? We start with this short dialogue. Please try to read it. You have a minute just to do it, please. There is a conversation between this man and the woman, yes? And the man is asking, where are you from? And the woman says, I am from Spain, but I live in London. What do you do? I work in a bank. I am an economist. Do you like your job? Yes, I do, but I don't like my employer. That's interesting. We have a position in my company. So, as you can see in this short conversation, the man is asking some questions, yes? Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like your job? And the woman is just giving some kind of answers, no? Just short answers. Some positive, some negative, yes? So, just remember, this conversation is in the present simple tense, yes? So, we use the present simple to talk about routines and situations in the present, remember? We use the present simple to talk about routines, for example. What do you do every day? What is that part of your everyday life? Yes? Example, I walk to work every day. I go to school. I do my homework. I eat dinner at home. That would be interesting if you can mention what is the routine you are following these days that you are in a quarantine. Because your routine has changed, yes? Now you are at home, and what do you do every day at home? You get up early, or you say, I get up late. Then, we use the present simple also to talk about situations. For example, right now we are having different situations at home, yes? What do you do these days? What is the situation? You have a lot of homework. You want to go to school again. You want to go to the cinema. Yes? So, for all those actions, we do commonly, or we do every day, or as part of our everyday life, we use the simple present tense. Yes? Well, this is just a very short review. Okay, so I'm going to go in quite fast or quickly about the topic. So, remember, we have the affirmative form. Now, we have the affirmative form for these people, for this person, this subject. I, you, we, and they. Then we have the verb, live, work, or study. And then the complement, in London. So, with this, I can make at least 4 sentences. I live in London. You work in London. We study in London. Yes? Another example. They live and work in London. Okay? So we have the subjects, I, you, we, and they. Now, for the negative, remember, we have to use an auxiliary. Yes, in this case, for these subjects, I, you, we, and they, we have to add don't, the auxiliary do, and the particle not. So, I can have another examples here now in negative. I don't live in London. We don't work in London. they don't study in London. Yes? Just remember the auxiliary for this negative. Now, for questions, we have yes, no questions. These are simple questions where, as the name says, the answer is only going to be yes or no, for example. But notice here that we have the auxiliary do for these persons only. And the auxiliary is placed before the subject. Do I live in London? Do we live in London? Do they live in London? Do you work in London? Yes? Now, what about the answers? In this case, you have to give short answers. Always try to answer when you have yes, no questions. Try to use the auxiliary you have at the beginning of the question. For example, in this case, you have do. So the short answers will be yes, I do. Yes, we do. Yes, they do. If it's negative, you say no, you don't, or no, we don't, or no, they don't. In the written form, remember to add the comma. Yes, comma, or no, comma. And we usually use the contracted form, don't. Okay? So don't be like Mexicans when you have yes, no questions, and then you give a whole explanation giving the answer. Okay? Just yes, no questions. The answers are yes or no. Okay? Well, now we have these pictures. Look at this. Picture 1. Where are they? What are they planning to do? What do you think the man is telling to the woman? Do you see, or can you see they are eating, or they are going to eat any special thing, special dish? What is the woman wearing? Yes? What do you think they are talking about? Now, in the second picture, we have, again, a couple, a man and a woman. They are together. And where do you think they are going to? What do you think they are talking about? Do they look happy? Are they going to have dinner? Or what's the situation there? Okay? Now we are going to have the following conversation. You have some minutes to try to read it. Okay, if you listen, someone snoring, that's my dog, yes? Now we have the following conversation, yes? Mom loves sushi. Do you like it? No, I don't. I like Chinese. Does Mom like Chinese food? No, she doesn't. What about pizza? Yes, she likes pizza. Great, let's have pizza. What about the following conversation? Does this conversation is similar to the one you think the woman and the man were having? Or is that quite different? Now you have a minute to read the second conversation. Just 1 minute, please. Okay, so it says, the movie starts at 4. Do you like horror movies? Yes, I do, but my friend doesn't. But Karina Lars, isn't it? She's a great actor. What time does the movie finish? It finishes at 6. Okay, then, let's meet my friend after the movie. Good idea. Do you think Is this conversation similar to the one you thought about? Well, now let's see. This conversation is happening between two persons, but they are talking about other persons, yes, in a third person. So for this, we have this review. The affirmative, we have the subject, he, she, or it. In this case, they are talking about the food, or they are talking about a movie, yes? So in this case, you refer to it. Well, and then the verb, in this case, likes, because they are talking about preferences or likes or dislikes, no? And then a subject. He likes Chinese food. She likes Chinese food. Yes? Notice here that the verb, in this case, the main verb is like, has the S or the ES or IES according to the ending of the verb. Remember that? Okay. Remember, this is just a review of a previous lesson. Now, for negative, the spelling rules, remember, is with most verbs we add, for example, in like, this is just an example, like, we add S, likes. With some verbs ending in a consonant plus Y, we add IES, yes? For example, study, studies. You have to drop the Y and add IES. With verbs ending in CH, SH, S, double S, and X, add ES. For example, watch, watches, finish, finishes. Okay? Now remember that the main verb always has always this ending. In this case, the example is like, but you can work with other verbs. Now, for the negative, we have he, she, it, and the auxiliary now is do, but if you apply the rule, then do has an O ending, so you have to add ES. That's why we then have does, right? Now, we add not, in this case. He doesn't like pizza, or she doesn't like pizza, or my pet doesn't like pizza. Now we're talking about the third person, yes? What about questions? Remember, we have the do, we have yes, so we have does. Now, does he like sushi? Does she like sushi? Does it like sushi? And then the short answers, remember? Yes, she does, or yes, he does. Or no, he doesn't. No, she doesn't. Yes? Remember always to give short answers. Sorry, my pet is disturbing here. Okay? I'm sorry. Then, when we have questions, WH questions, in this case, I'm just going to use when and where. Well, there must say where here, okay? When does he or she it start or finish? In this case, for example, the movie they were talking about in the previous conversation, it would be when does it start? When does the movie start? Or maybe you are talking about a person starting something, no? When does Maria start working? Yes? So the structure is similar, yes? We have WH question, auxiliary, subject, main verb, okay? Now, let's do some practice. This is just practice if you want to do it. Here, leave some comments or in the forum, in the class, or working in your notepad or your computer, wherever you want, okay? So, we have the following verbs: drink, read, listen to, do, eat, play, go, and watch. Let's match. Yes? Let's complete this to have a phrase, no? For example, drink coffee, drink water. What about films or TV? What do you do with this? What about tennis and football? Junk food, popcorn, books, magazines, music, an MP3 player, running, to the cinema, sport, or exercise. Yes? You can do it orally or in written form. Then when you finish, let's try to add these words. Tea, a sandwich, DVDs, swimming, golf, newspaper, nothing, and the teacher. Yes, for example, I would say watch films or watch TV, listen to music, listen to an MP3 player. Yes? What about eat? Eat junk food or eat popcorn. So you have there some activities already, right? Now try to do some exercises. Adding the subject. Yes? I drink coffee in the morning. I don't eat junk food in my house. We listen to music every day. Now, it would be interesting that you make some sentences using this vocabulary to describe what you are doing along this quarantine. Yes, what are you doing right now in your house? What do you do? What do you do every day? Yes. Okay. Now, we have here more vocabulary. In this case, what you have to do is try to match the phrase, yes, a phrase, in the box with a picture. What do you think is A? Yes? So, we have get up. Then we have go to bed. Have breakfast. Get home. Have lunch. Start work. Start school. Leave home. Finish work. Finish school. Have dinner. It would be interesting if you put in order these activities for you in your everyday life now. What do you do these days you are at home? Do you have a routine, a special routine? Do you do the same things? Are you trying to get up early or you get up late? What do you do? What is the order of these activities along this quarantine? Remember to use present simple, right? We are talking about a routine. Okay. Then, the next exercise is that try to find here some jobs. They are hidden jobs, right? For example, let's find one. I have here, I have found chef. Did you see it? Chef, it's here. At the end, chef. Now, what does he or she do? What does a chef do? Yes? So, find the jobs and then choose. They are 12 jobs here. Yes? Find them and then choose only 3 of them and answer the question about him or her, like this. Yes? What does a chef do? He cooks, he gets up early, he prepares food, he prepares dishes. Remember to add the S or ES, it depends on the verb you are using, yes? Another example here, I don't know, a pilot. A pilot flies planes, period. He travels around the world, period. He likes it. As you can see, we can make a sentence, just adding simple sentence. Don't complicate yourself, yes? Just try to do the basic structure. You can do it positive or negative, no? A pilot flies planes. So you have the subject, the main verb, and a complement. And try to use the correct punctuation. At least try to use the period, right? He travels around the world, period. He likes it. And then you have a quite long sentence. Okay? Now, what happened with questions? You can try this exercise. Write 10 questions and answers to know the routine of someone in your house. For example, well, I want to show you here the structure as we saw in the last, in the previous slide. Well, we have the question word, auxiliary does, then the person, he or she. You can also write here the name, Maria, Pedro, Josaphat, whatever, whomever, sorry. Then the verb in simple form, because you already have the auxiliary, remember, and then a complement. If you want to make yes, no question, just add the auxiliary, does, the subject, he or she, the verb simple, and the complement. Does she, right? Just try to add. You can use the vocabulary from the previous slide. And now the answers would be, if it is an information question with a W question or question words, in that case you have to give long answers. She gets up early. She goes to bed early. You can refer to a person in your house, or as in the previous exercise, to a, I don't know, a professionist or a worker, no? Then, if it is the short answer, just remember to say, yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. And sometimes, in this case, we're going to practice a little. Sometimes, only sometimes, we can add extra information. For example, does a chef get up early? The correct answer would be yes, he does. But we can add a little bit extra information. Yes, he gets up very early because he goes to the supermarket. Yes? It's quite a short information. Or you just simply say yes, he does, or no, he doesn't. Whatever. Yes? Okay. Then, just to finish, if you want to write a short paragraph, yes, try to always follow these steps. From A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. There is a mistake here. Well, don't pay attention to that. We have first, then, after that, later, finally. Try to use this block to make a very short description of your routine or someone's routine. Yes, someone else's routine in your house. Try to follow this step. First, I wake up very early. Then I have breakfast with my family now that we are at home. After that, I take a shower and get ready. Get ready for the day, okay? Because you don't go to school now. Later, I do my homework, or I have lessons. I have lessons online. Finally, I finish my homework, or I finish my task. As you can see, I am talking about this in a part of a day, but you can use this block to describe then activities in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or at night. What do you do at night? You say, well, first I read a book, then I put on my pajamas. After that, I watch TV. I watch the news on TV for a while. Finally, I sleep. Yes, and that's all. Well, some words that can be useful for you when you talk about routines, remember, are the complements. For example, on the days of the week, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. What do you do? Yes, for example, I help my mother on Monday. Or I have mathematics lessons on Tuesday and Thursday. Yes? It's quite simple to use this. Just remember they go at the end and you have to use on. And we have other time expressions. For example, every day, once a week, twice a month, 3 times a year, or every day, every week, every month, or once a day, once, that means one time, yes? Twice, 2 times, and then we have 3 times. Okay? All these expressions of time or frequency, they go always at the end. What do you do every day now you are at home? Yes, along this quarantine. And then we have, as you remember, maybe you can remember, adverbs of frequency. Never, ever, sometimes, occasionally. But what is the thing here? These words must be placed between the subject and the verb. Always, right? For example, I often study at night. Juan always washes his clothes in the morning. Right? Remember this about these adverbs. These adverbs, yes, modifies the verb. And we use them to talk about the frequency of the actions or activities we do, right? Then, remember the rule for the third person? I showed you a presentation last week, but if not, you have it here, like a summary. This is just a review, remember, you already have this. And then, applying these rules to the verbs in third person, we have drinks, runs, smiles, writes, reads, cries, walks, sings, eats, lives, and talks. Yes? Now, finally, just to finish with this topic and the presentation, you have this vocabulary. It was one of the last lessons we had before we started all these things and of the quarantine and the stop of activities. You can use this vocabulary. Just remember, if you talk in I, we, you, and they, or if you refer to he, she, it, you modify the verb. Yes, we have here more activities. And now, well, you have a lot of vocabulary, you have a lot of information, some ideas to prepare or to talk about you or someone else, yes, a third person. So that's all for today. I hope you have you find this presentation useful, and we'll keep in touch. Remember, via WhatsApp or in the chat or in the forum class. Thank you, and have a good day.